Okay, well, you took a look at that clip. Don't get the wrong idea about this course. I mean, the movie is a little bit of a comedy. As you can tell, Bill and Ted are two scholars studying philosophy. Not you. Those of you who've seen it, I think a lot of you may have seen this movie. It's about two guys in high school. They're in a band. They're not doing too well, and they're not going to graduate unless they finish a project. And in the course of this project, somehow, I don't know the whole story, I've only seen the clips, but they seem to have found this time machine, so they travel back to ancient Greece. And what they're doing along the way for their final paper is they are picking up historical characters and bringing them back. And Socrates is one of the first ones. Notice the joke when obviously these two guys are not exactly great geniuses nor great scholars, and when whoever I can't keep them straight who Bill and Ted is, one guy says, "Look, we know that guy, Socrates. Yeah, yeah, look it up in the book under Socrates." So guys, don't spell Socrates wrong. It's spelled Socrates, and don't pronounce it wrong. It's Socrates. But they go there and they see Socrates somehow lecturing to a group of students in his academy back there in ancient Greece. Um, you saw the dates. Uh, and our course is going to take us back to ancient Greece, where we're going to be spending most of the semester, at least not physically, but mentally, we'll be studying the thought of ancient Greece. And there, Socrates appears to be lecturing to a bunch of his students. And the one thing that you guys should notice is if you watch the captions, obviously, most of you don't understand Greek. Even though I did take a semester of Greek, wouldn't understand a word of the spoken language. And you should know, I think the language was a little bit different, the one that was spoken back in Athens in those days, from the one that's spoken today in the country in Europe that we're familiar with. But the point that we're making here is that you see Socrates trying to convey to his students what are supposed to sound like, pearls of wisdom. Um, our lives are like the days. Well, first of all, let me tell you something. I did some research and I was searching all around and I could not find any place where the statements there are attributed to Socrates. In addition to which, there's something a little bit crazy about thinking that this would be what philosophers in academia do. There's no problem with people sitting down and trying to convey, little pearls, what are called aphorisms, sort of sayings that are pearls of wisdoms, great guidelines for action. But if you think about it, what are we going to do in a class when we're talking about this? We're going to say, what's going to happen? I'm going to say, well, I think that you ought to let bygones be bygones. And somebody else in the class will say, well, I think, we ought to kill the guy before he kills us. Now, that's not much of a study. That's really not much to learn from and think about, but it does get at a certain idea that somehow philosophy is involved in some kind of thinking, some kind of good thinking. So let's take a look at how we're really going to hone in this and take these common usages of philosophy and kind of hone in on the concept that we're going to be spending time with all semester.